For much of our time in Botswana, we looked into a river from a bush. Today, we're on the Chobe River, looking into the bush. On one side of this river is Namibia, and on the other is Botswana. And along its banks are the wonders we witnessed all month long. Today is also our last day in Botswana. My name is Anurup, and I am a wildlife photographer. My friends and I spent a month in Botswana, and this is one of the many amazing stories from that epic adventure. I've been posting them on this channel, and if you're enjoying this series, please consider liking the video and sharing it with your friends. And when you subscribe to the channel, please hit the bell icon to get a notification every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much. Over the last 3 weeks, whether it is through photographing the dead up in the air, or the bands, or at Kwai, or the Mokoro ride, we have photographed a large number of elephants, giraffes, and hippos. And this being the last day of our trip, because we knew that as greedy wildlife photographers, the heart is never contented, we've given ourselves one more day to photograph elephants, giraffes, and maybe hippos in a very different way than what we've done in the trip so far, which is through a boat. And this boat is specifically designed for photography. Every seat has got a head. I think it's a Penro head and a gimbal attached to it. We can sort of mount our cameras on it and shoot while the boat sort of sails through the Chobe River. Chobe is a national park, more on that later, but this is a super exciting and another first experience for me on this trip. So let's see what the morning holds. And some buffaloes to our side as we speak. These Cape buffalo gather in the thousands in the dry season. The small islands and deltas in the Chobe River provide plenty of fresh green grass for them to get through the dry season. While buffaloes make for great subjects, Neil, our guide for the day and CEO of CNP Safaris, suggested we make the most of the early morning bird activity. And we didn't have to look too far. Right behind this herd of buffalo was the Malachite Kingfisher. It's one of the smallest kingfishers I've seen, at about 13 centimeters in height. It was a proper rush hour for birds. We saw a couple of African fish eagles feeding in the distance. A grey heron picked a small catfish and flew away. A large head popping out of the reeds turned out to be this Goliath heron, the world's biggest heron. It's about 1.5 meters tall and can weigh up to 4.5 kilograms, probably as big as a wader gets. We then heard the call of one of Africa's best hunters. An African fish eagle was surveying the water, and even before I realized, it struck. This is why it's one of Africa's best hunters. Though the eagle can't fly with it, which is what it would normally do, it is strong enough to drag a catfish, probably heavier than itself, away from the water in its talon and feed in peace. We repositioned our boat to get a slightly better angle, and we were in for a big surprise. Right here, say a few meters away from the boat, is a grot that is about 4 meters long, or the biggest I've seen. And a little behind the grot, we've been photographing this fishing eagle that made a kill some time ago, and we're hoping that it'll take off and we can get a flight shot. And for the first few minutes of this, I wasn't sure which one I wanted to be focusing on, the grot or the fishing eagle, but I think it's about time the fishing eagle flies now. I've actually taken a bit of a chance by recording this video instead of focusing there to watch him fly, and hopefully he'll apply. But it's amazing how we've got so close to the grot in such close proximity, and we're able to watch the fishing eagle as well.
We hoped that the eagle would fly with a portion of the kill at least, so we'd get some flight shots. But it had other plans. It ate the fish entirely and did not move. It just basked. I strongly relate to the behavior of not wanting to budge after a heavy meal. So, out of respect for the eagle, we moved on.
So we're having a really good morning so far, absolutely brilliant light. We've been doing birding mostly, and I think now we're heading into slightly deeper waters and maybe look for elephants and hippos as well. It is stunning, gorgeous light all around me, and it'll be great to see some hippos or elephants in this light, in this setting.
We soon came across a herd of elephants walking to the water. We were able to get quite close to the herd. We had a great time photographing elephants up close. The herd seemed comfortable with our presence. We're on the Chobe River in Botswana, a part of the Chobe National Park that covers about 11,700 square kilometers of floodplain, woodland, and swamp. This is the northeastern end of the Chobe Linearity system, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that is known for its elephant concentration, over 50,000 according to the UNESCO. While Botswana is probably the best known country in the world for African elephants, Chobe is the best known in Botswana for elephants. I then saw something interesting. I thought I saw a lone elephant walking towards the water, till the cutest calf I've seen appeared from right behind her. The mother walked up to the river and took a few sips in. The calf's trunk could barely reach the water from there, so it knelt and tried its best. It then gave up and walked to a more convenient bank from where it could take larger sips. The herd came closer to check in on this elephant and calf. A slightly larger calf from the big herd was very curious about the little fellow. It looked like he wanted to help the younger calf drink, almost trying to feed the younger calf with its trunk. Though I've read about elephants being social animals that care for each other, to see such young calves be so endearing is something else. After having its fill of water, it went back to mom to be fed. I'm not sure why this calf and mom were away from a herd. Elephants are social, and mothers with calves are known to stay with the herd. It was time for us to head back too. Before our afternoon boat ride, I sat with Neil to understand more about Chobe and the river cruise.
The Chobe River originates in the name of other rivers all the way up to the Angolan highlands. So the water comes from there. It is tremendously important for this whole area. Even the elephants that you see, Botswana's got 120,000 plus elephants. It is probably the elephant capital of the world, without a doubt. And this magnificent river just provides all the water that the animals need. Even though it is extremely dry in the veld, animals will die during the year because of lack of food, but the water is really incredible.
And this runs through Botswana and Namibia, right? So it's a natural border for a distance between Namibia and Botswana.
Absolutely. So the main channel splits Namibia and Botswana in two. It was a contentious issue for many years at the UN, where Sududu Island, which we've passed by, Namibia claimed it, and then they got people in to actually measure the depth, and within a meter or something, that part of the river was deeper, and so it is designated that Sududu Island is part of Botswana.
Because of a meter of depth.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's interesting. Yeah. So while we're headed today, what all can we expect to see in the evening boat ride?
So as I say, I mean, this is my 43rd trip on the on the Chobe with a group of a few days. and every single trip is just incredible. I mean, this morning, even those little gallinules that we saw flying, the fish eagles that we saw catching, um, all of that is just spectacular. So we're going to go out this afternoon. The afternoons are better for elephants because they come from everywhere, and they're just a continual stream of elephants down to the river.
Awesome.
Looking for food and water. Afternoon, you have a lot of the kingfishers and so on, diving, fishing.
Awesome.
The other African darters, those type of all the birds that basically fish are out and hunt.
Could you tell us a bit more about the board? Because we found the way it's designed really helpful for us to go about and photograph. But it'd be great to hear it from
Yeah.
you.
So our founder came out here a few years ago, and he was in a normal V-shaped hull boat. It was extremely difficult to handle the 600mm lenses and to actually get proper shots. And one of his friends said, "You need to design a boat," and so he did. And this is the one of two of these boats. So the object was to really get it stable, so anybody could use a long lens. So we have a full swivel chair. The camera is resting on the gimbal. You basically can lift this up all the way to where you are standing, so you can stand behind your camera. Even if that's not enough, and you want to shoot over the grasses, then you can do so even higher.
Amazing.
Okay, and once again, as I said, it swivels all the way around, so you set it exactly where you want, and we're not restricted in terms of what side of the boat we are going to shoot from. Rest of the boat, 8 seats on here, 8 photographers, and yeah, fantastic setup.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
So we've just come across a hippo out in the open in broad daylight. Should be able to see it in a bit. Yeah, there it is. And he's gone in.
Afternoons are elephant rush hour. We left behind large elephant herds because Neil promised us that what lay ahead would be better. And boy, was he right.
So the area right behind me is called the Elephant Bay because every evening a large number of elephants across multiple herds come here and take turns to drink water. And from what I've been told, the reason why this is such a popular spot is because it's got a very, very easy incline for the elephants to sort of come down, get to the water and get back into the forest. The rest of the area seem to have a slightly steep incline. This makes it very easy, and it's quite nice to see how one herd comes after another. The herd that's in queue waits for a while. It's all orderly, and at the same time it's also social because it's not just about drinking water and sunbathing, but also meeting other elephants, interacting with members of other herds, which the elephants do here. And after they've had a drink, most elephants indulge in a bit of a mud bath, which is on anywhere we can find the white sand, which is why some of the elephants look really, really white and very, very contrasted against the blue water.
This afternoon is just beginning, but already the Elephant Bay has shown us what makes Chobe special. It was fascinating to see how each elephant had its own ritual. Some would drink from the water's edge. Some would walk all the way into deep water, enjoy a dip and a bath, and take their time. Some elephants looked like they wanted to test water before taking their first sip, as if to pick their favorite spot. And after drinking, they'd all go back for a mud bath. And they all had their favorite mud bathing spots too. We soon realized that it wasn't one large herd. It was a number of smaller herds. The herds that came in later waited patiently for the other herds to be done. There was a continuous coming and going of herds. The joy and excitement with which they ran to the river told how much they looked forward to it. And while we call it the Elephant Bay, elephants aren't the only animals that make the most of easy access to water. Impalas, guinea fowl, and a number of waders are also seen here during the evening. Baboons have more than one reason to visit. Lots of elephants means lots of dung. Elephants don't digest their food well. Only about half of what they eat gets processed. This is a treasure trove for baboon. They dig through elephant dung with their hands, looking for these undigested seeds and fruits. The soft riverbank also has treasures underground. During the dry season, these roots and shoots are all the more important. Baboons are also highly social animals. Grooming each other helps build these social bonds. A riverbank is as good a place as any to do that and chill for the rest of the evening. We saw a lot of interesting elephant behavior, some things I hadn't seen before, such as this elephant that was eating sand, possibly for the minerals. I also saw another female with a young calf all by herself. A large elephant, possibly a matriarch of another herd, watched them closely and stood between them and the rest of the herd. It looked like she escorted the mother and calf to a far away point on the bay, where they drank by themselves and went back. And while we were engrossed with the elephants at the Elephant Bay, Neil showed us something epic a little farther along the bank.
So while we were waiting at the Elephant Bay for more elephants to come, we saw an entire herd here crossing the water. So we just came to the other side of their crossing, and hopefully we'll get some good shots of them climbing up the shore. I've never seen elephants swim this way in the water, an entire herd, and this is going to be so epic.
It is hard to imagine the grace and ease with which the biggest land mammal can swim, with their trunks above water to breathe. Some of the largest elephants were wading through quite easily. The little ones had trouble keeping their trunks up, and there was always an older calf helping them through it. Once they reached the other side, they first made the most of soft grass on the bank and then moved on. In the process, They also crossed a line that we've drawn on a map that means nothing to them, the border between Botswana and Namibia.
For me to see a large herd like this move across water, and as it turns out, they just crossed the border, getting the visas checked right now. So it's 5:14 now, and I think we're in the last hour or so of shooting on our last session of our last day. So it's a slightly bittersweet moment. I'm not fussed about whether I make any shot. I think it's been an epic trip, and I think all of us to some extent are trying to just absorb the moment and soak up as much of Botswana and a little bit of Namibia as we can. But yeah, end of a really great trip.
My time in Botswana has been brilliant. The large herds of buffalo, zebra and wildebeest, the long afternoons of nothing happening, a hunt that went by in the blink of an eye, the morning sounds, the adventure of camping, and being jolted awake from deep slumber by a loud lion roaring just a few feet away from our car. I've had so many new experiences, but I've cherished my time in the jungle the most. Now that it's coming to an end, despite everything I've seen or stored on my memory card, I know I can never have enough of it. And while this was our last day in Botswana, this isn't my last video from there. The one from Kwai is the last and is up next. Do follow my channel for more videos like this one.